All right, guys, we got some resolution here. Yeah, I'm excited. The DJI Osmo Action 2. Uh, let me just let me just go through what happened. Let me explain what happened, and how it was ultimately resolved, and the reasons become clear at the end. Um, so, disclaimer first off. Let me just get this out of the way. This video isn't sponsored. Short of what you're about to hear about, DJI's never given me anything. I don't have plans to work with them on anything. I'm just a customer who bought a lot of their stuff. In fairness, that might have played a role. I'm not sure, but I'm a loyal customer, and I'm very persistent, especially when it comes to writing emails. So here's the ultimate story. If you're new here, here's what happened. I was filming an event by a pool with my Osmo Action 2. Okay. Now, one thing you have to understand about the Osmo Action 2 is this top part. There's two parts. This is waterproof. This is the thing you take in the ocean or swimming pool or whatever. This is your screen module, so you can see yourself from the front. This is not waterproof. I knew this. I did not take this in the pool intentionally. What happened was I went to turn this thing on, and the whole thing fell out, hit the concrete, and landed in the pool. Okay, so that's where. And then I still had this in my hand, and I realized this magnetic protective case that they recommended we use is the reason why I had this problem. It actually fell out of this case. And I made a couple of videos demonstrating this, but I got to get everybody up to speed in case this is your first video. So based on the recommendations of a lot of you, I went ahead and reached out to DJI. And in fairness, like they were very, very polite. I did feel like I was kind of getting a little bit of the corporate speak at times, where your call is important to us. They were, but their emails were always friendly. They were always courteous. They weren't committal, and that's why it took so many emails. Is like, I appreciate your kindness. I appreciate your thoughtfulness. I also need to know that you're going to take care of this. And they, it took a lot of convincing, a lot of emailing. They kept escalating my case. And I'll just cut to the chase. We kind of got hung up on three areas, and this will come into play later. This is not under warranty. I never claimed it was. I bought this like I've told you guys, I bought this on Amazon. It was a return. I bought it from the warehouse because it was cheaper, and it's not under warranty. My point was, this has nothing to do with a warranty. This is a problem with this case. If this didn't fail, this did. And so, like, if you wouldn't you wouldn't light your car on fire and then go to Honda and say, will you cover this under warranty? I felt like this happened to this, and that was the point I kept trying to make over and over and over, as clearly as possible. And they kept listening. They were very polite, and they kept escalating. But that was a big sticking point, and that's going to come into play later, because if I had known that, I would have just, if I could have, I would have just bought the consumer protection plan. In fact, that's the first thing I did when I bought the Osmo Action 4, even before this has gotten resolved. Like, I bought the consumer protection plan just because this took so much time. And there's something about big companies like DJI. DJI is a huge company, by the way. They just have their policies, right? And the $18 a year or whatever it is I spent on that protection plan to not have to go through what I just went through, it's worth it to me. I don't even like protection plans. Most of the time I don't think they math out, but this one is cheaper. I mean, it's super cheap. Like I said, $18 a year. And it would have saved me a ton of time. So yeah, they got hung up on that because it wasn't covered. And so I had to make my point that it was definitely, I'm not asking you to cover this under warranty. I'm asking you to cover this under this. The other thing we got hung up on is they wanted me to send it in, and I didn't want to send it in without a guarantee that they were going to send it back fixed or send me a replacement. Because what I thought was going to happen, and I still think what would have happened, is they were going to get this in, they're going to open this up, and they're going to say, yeah, this was submerged in water, we can't fix that, but we'll give you a discount on a replacement. Because that's what happened in the forums several times. You can see places where people that has happened to them, and I didn't want to waste my time. Honestly, what I wanted them to do was say, look, this was my point. I told you this fell in the pool. I told you this has been submerged in water. If you get this in and you find that it's submerged, are you going to replace it? And that took more emails and more escalation. But that was another sticking point, was just tell me what you're going to do if I'm telling you the truth. Because I knew I was telling the truth. I mean, full disclosure to you, full disclosure to them. Everything I was saying to them, I was saying to you, and vice versa. Like, this fell in the pool. This is, are you going to fix it when you open it up and find it fell in the pool? And getting them to commit to that was extremely difficult. But again, they were polite. They escalated. They escalated with me like 3 or 4 times. I think I'm talking to the CEO now. Not really, but I'm talking to somebody up there. But I just wanted them to. I wanted them to lock it in and tell me they were going to take care of me. So emails, traded email, lots of emails. Over time, it kept escalating, and ultimately, even though it was a pain, it was the path I needed to go on, because they eventually said they would take care of it. But they wanted me to know their side of the story, right? And so I'm telling you their side of the story. And because I at the end of this, they agreed to fix this, but they asked me to take my old video down. And I'm like, I'm not taking my old video down. I'd rather have a not working camera than take my own video down. Now, in fairness to them, they never said it was contingent. They wouldn't fix this unless I took my old video down. But they did ask me nicely, please, would I take it down? And I was like, I'm not doing it. And then I got to thinking about it, and I was thinking about my relationship with you guys, which is actually more important than my relationship with DJI. And I'm sure she feels the same. I'm sure they feel the same way. I was like, this is not, me taking that video down isn't a win for anyone, because people need to know how easily this could come out, right? And so, like, if people are dropping their cameras, that's not good for the customer. That's not good for DJI. Nobody wins. And so what I proposed to them was I would take down my old video because it's incomplete. It doesn't have their side of the story. It doesn't have the resolution. But I'm going to make another video, and in my own words, I'm going to explain what happened. I promised I wouldn't be mad this time. And that's kind of what we're doing. So their side of the story on this is, like, they consider this a feature because it makes it easy to remove this from the case. And additionally, they feel like they disclosed that this could fall out because, and I'll just read this so I'm not putting words in their mouth. On the warm-up tips on the purchase page of the DJI Action 2 protective case, we have stated that when using in high-speed sports scenes such as cycling and other fast-moving scenarios, it's recommended that you remove the expansion module when the protective frame is used. That is, when the camera is subject to high-speed vibration, impact, or pressure, it is recommended to remove the protective case to avoid accidents. Okay, that's a nice disclosure, and I think it's perfectly applicable, and I think it's, like, if you're doing high-speed sports, now I definitely would recommend taking it out of the case. I wasn't, so that's my point. Like, now I know now that if I'm going to turn this on, I'm not going to do it like this, right? If I'm going to turn this on, I'm going to do it like this. And this is what I want to tell you guys, so you don't end up in this situation. Like, do it like this. Hold it with 2 hands, or hold the whole unit with 1 hand, so that you don't end up accidentally removing it from the protective case. So that's really, like, that's kind of the resolution. They're going to, if you see this video, that means they did what they said they're going to do. I'm sending this back in. They said they're going to replace it. They're going to replace it for free. I told them I would take down the other video where I was angry. I'd make another one where I'm not angry, but also where I'm explaining exactly what happened so other people don't end up in that situation, and they're okay with it. So that's where we landed, and I'm not angry at DJI. I feel like they didn't acknowledge this as a design flaw because they don't feel like it's a design flaw, and they feel like they've disclaimed it. But they are okay with me telling you guys, hey, be careful because this could happen. So that's fair. I mean, to me, that's reasonable. So yeah, be careful when you're using this. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to tell you that I forgot. I think that's it. Guys. Yeah. In the future, like I said, I'm on my 4. I already bought the stupid consumer protection plan, just because I don't want to go through this again. Like, I'm not particularly hard on my equipment, but it would have saved me so much time, because again, they are a big company, and wherever sometimes with big companies, their policies, you just have to jump through the hoops they need you to jump through. I mean, not sometimes, always it works like that. And it would have saved me so much time to just have the consumer protection plan that with them. And since it's really cheap, like I said, I think it was $18, something like that. It would have saved me so much time in emails, even though I ultimately won. And I think I'm right. It would have been a lot easier on everyone if I just don't mind paying $18 to avoid that. It's time wasting insurance, if that makes sense. So yeah, there it is. That's the end of the story. Thank you guys, those of you who are following along. Still love this camera. It's a great camera. Can't wait to get it working again. If you're interested in this or more content about cameras or life or whatever, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys in the next one.